Doing wholesale real estate is really actually the best skill to learn in real estate.
I agree.
Right? Not flipping, not multifamily, not all of this other rentals, all of this. It's wholesaling real estate.
Absolutely.
It's the best skill to learn.
We're actually going to give y'all about 5 steps on how to actually do this. I find this property for $50,000. I end up getting it under contract for $50,000. I then go out and find this buyer, right? And I find him for $60,000, right? He wants to purchase the property for $60,000 and it needs some work. What happens after that? So step number 2, you definitely want to figure out how to find motivated sellers. So that's the biggest thing in finding deals, is being able to find people that are motivated to sell.
But T, how do you do that if you broke?
If you're broke, exactly, that's what I'm about to get into. Hold up. Where do you find buyers?
Well, there's a lot of places you can find buyers, right? And I'll give you some very, easy way to find buyers, off market or wholesale deals or something like that. Just play with it, pause, and you should be able to find something.
Yo, welcome back to Moguls in the Making, the podcast. Hey, we come to y'all today. I'm obviously Legacy T. Got my guy Catch a Bag. Oh, he got people calling me out of his name when they see me out. We're going to see how that go.
Yeah.
But hey, we wanted to bring to y'all today another one of our videos.
Oh.
Whoa.
I'm sorry.
Man.
I was just trying to get the claps in,
But we want to bring another video to y'all today. Today, we want to show y'all how to wholesale real estate, even if you have no money and you broke.
So stay tuned, because we got this video coming up next. Make sure that you like, subscribe if you're getting value from any of our videos.
Absolutely.
Let's get it.
All righty. So getting into it, what is wholesaling real estate? Actually, you know what? Why would you even ever want to wholesale real estate?
Really, it's the best choice for you to make as fast money as possible legally, I think. For you to just kind of come out of thin air and make $50,000, like where else can you do that at?
Absolutely.
So I think it's quick, but I think you do have to have the skills developed to be able to execute, wholesale on an ongoing basis.
My opinion is probably the best single way to get into real estate, where you learn the game and you're able to make money while you're learning. That's my biggest thing as far as like, why would you get involved in wholesale real estate? And my second reason is because you don't have to use any money or credit. That's how I got in. Zero money. Zero.
That's how I got in too. And I think me and Tyrone both agreed that doing wholesale real estate is really actually the best skill to learn in real estate.
I agree.
Right? Not flipping, not multifamily, not all of this other rentals, all of this. It's wholesaling real estate.
Absolutely.
It's the best skill to learn.
Absolutely. So this is what we're going to do today. We're actually going to give y'all about 6 steps on how to, 5 steps on how to actually do this, right? But we want to at first give y'all an example of how to actually, of what a wholesale deal is. So essentially, wholesaling is almost like a pawn shop, right? Like, why do people sell their Super Bowl rings for $1,000? Why do people sell their wedding rings for $500 at a pawn shop?
Yeah.
Well, what happens is life happens, right? And stuff happens where people need to get rid of stuff, and they need to get rid of it fast, and they're motivated to sell a bit quicker, right? So essentially, an example of a wholesale deal is, and I'll let Omari finish the back end of this, but an example of a wholesale deal is when you actually find someone that's motivated to sell their property at a lower cost off market, right? And those motivations could be anything: evictions, tax delinquent, inherited the property, they're not around, whatever it may be. You get this property under a contract, right? And that's a purchase agreement. So say, for instance, I find this seller, he wants to sell his property for $50,000, right? It's worth $100,000 set, all fixed up, right? I find this property for $50,000. I end up getting it under contract for $50,000. I then go out and find this buyer, right? And I find him for $60,000, right? He wants to purchase the property for $60,000 and it needs some work. What happens after that?
Well, what happens after that is you find a buyer for $60,000. He comes in. What you would do is have the second agreement. So with all wholesale deals, you have 2 agreements. One is the purchase agreement that Tyrone already spoke about. The second one with the buyer is called an assignment agreement. So you're assigning your rights from the property. That first purchase agreement, you're assigning these rights to this agreement, basically. So the assignment agreement kind of connects the purchase agreement together. And what you would do is you take those 2 documents and you send them in to the title company, and the title company looks at it and says, oh, okay, person A is on the purchase agreement for $50,000. Person A is selling to person B for $60,000. So that means person A gets $10,000, the in between.
Correct. He kind of messed it up, but I'm gonna let him roll with it.
Oh, okay.
It's A to B, B to C. So it's like
Yeah, for sure.
the person A, you sell the property. I mean, the person A is the seller. You're person B. He sells the property to you, person B, right? That contract you're assigning to person C, who comes in, which is the buyer. And you're doing that at a fee, whatever that fee may be. And in this case, that fee is $10,000, right?
Right.
Because you got it for $50,000 and you sold it to person C for $60,000. You sold that contract technically for $10,000. You're out of the process at closing. You're going to get your $10,000 at closing, and that's wholesale real estate.
Right, and you just do it over and over and over and over and over again.
Exactly. And that's how we got in the game. My first deal was $13,000. I did just like that. Didn't put any money in. Asked my mom to go out and find a property, and that's how it happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we want to actually give y'all
this month. We're doing about we got about 90,000 on the board right now.
90,000 exactly
this month.
So we want to give y'all 5 steps on how to actually do this in any market across the U.S.
Yeah, I'll go for it. The first one is like how to find a market first. You want to find a market. You want to find a market that's obviously plentiful in deals, and just, the city is actually on the rise, right? So you want to look at low crime, right? You want to look at population, right? You want to look at job growth. You want to look at how many buyers are there, which you can go to like PropStream. You can go to those different services like that, and you can pull, like a cash buyer list to see how many people are actually active in that area, right? What's the other website? Not PropStream, ListSource. There we go. You can go to ListSource and you can find out this information. They have a bunch of videos on YouTube about it, right? But you want to find those things right there is a bulk of it, of figuring. And then you also want to see if, the state obviously allows you to wholesale without a real estate license.
Yeah, that's a new one.
That's a new, Illinois, maybe Oklahoma. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's a few out there, right, that doesn't allow you to wholesale without a license. So you want to make sure, you're in the clear of that. And also me personally, I would try to choose a state that's, more tenant friendly, more, investor friendly, right? Versus choosing a state that's, just harder on those rules and laws, because you're dealing with people who may have issues in properties. You're going to deal with tenants. So if you can't get the tenant out the property, or the city, the state has very strict rules with that, that's going to deter some buyers from moving forward in that property. So
absolutely,
those are things that,
last thing but not least, try to find somewhere that's your backyard that you know of. Like I was living in Los Angeles. Didn't make sense really to me to wholesale in Los Angeles. I'm from Indianapolis. It was a better wholesale market to be in as far as like renters and stuff like that. But I also knew the lay of the land. So that was why I got started in this market. So step number 2, you definitely want to figure out how to find motivated sellers, right? So that's the biggest thing in finding deals, is being able to find people that are motivated to sell.
But T, how do you do that if you broke?
If you're broke, exactly, that's what I'm about to get into. Hold up. No, seriously, how you literally find these people if you're broke is you have government lists, right? So you can go down to your local government, your tax assessors, your treasurer's offices, whatever you are in your county. You have to put in the work to find it. You're trading money for time and hustle. I've said this in other videos. You have to trade that hustle. You're going to have to hustle to find these lists, but they're in there. They're in your municipality somewhere in the city that you choose. You
Yep.
go and find those lists. A lot of times they're free, or they're very, very cheap, like $15 to pull like thousands of names, right? And so what you're going to do is you're going to take those lists and you're going to actually skip trace those lists, or you can go and door knock it. Those are the 2 cheapest ways to get into marketing. To me, is door knocking, which is free. You just drive around, you door knock those houses, and you literally ask them, hey, well, actually, that's our next step.
Right,
so
right.
I won't get into that. But so those are 2 ways that you can definitely find motivated sellers, is going and pulling these lists, and then you can either call them directly from your phone, and you can use stuff like dialers and stuff like that once you get a few dollars under your belt. But to start out, you're just dialing them from your phone, dialing different motivated sellers, but you're pulling lists like from the city that's like pre-foreclosure, evictions, divorce lists,
Probates,
code violations like high weeds, high grass, and stuff like that. And that's how you typically find motivated sellers.
right? And what T was gonna say is step 3. You almost went into it. So what you would do is, step 3 is how to speak with the seller once you got all this information, right?
Absolutely.
I got my data. I got the pre-foreclosure list. I got these people in these areas. Now I got to drive out there, right? If I'm door knocking, right? Now I drive up there. I get to the house and I'm like, okay, what the heck do I say?
Yep.
Right? So I get up there, right? Something I would say, knock on the door. Again, wear something natural, wear something comfortable. Don't go in there in something crazy. just be normal, right? These people have problems, but they're just, people, just like you and I, right? So go there in something normal, just look presentable. Go up there and say, hey, I was kind of in the area. I just wanted to see if you would consider an offer on this property here. We buy properties in this area, and we kind of like your property, and see what they say. Right? You don't have to mention anything about pre-foreclosure. You don't have to mention anything about, I see you got a divorce here. Like, you don't have to mention anything about that, right? Hey, I'm in the area. Me and my team, we buy properties over here in this area, and I just wanted to see if you would consider an offer on this property here. And see what they say, right?
And
that's the
look,
initial conversation.
Y'all gonna go through a bunch of no's, but say you go. Let me ask y'all this: if I told you that for every 200 no's that you get, that you'll get one yes, and you'll make $10,000, would you do it? You would. We all would. Like if I would just sat there and ask a person 200 times something just for $10,000, I would do it, right? And those are really like realistic odds with this business, especially with door knocking.
It might even be better odds.
It might be better odds than that. So just think about that, right? And so I would think about that when I'm going out there. I'm gonna get a lot of no's, but hey, I'm learning the game, and I'm actually getting paid to learn the game, right? And then so say for instance somebody says yes, boom, y'all get it at a good price, right? And you're able to get that property under contract. What's next? Step 4.
Right.
Step 4. Step 4
We're getting there.
Step 4 is you have to find a buyer now. Now you got this property under contract for $50,000, and you're like, oh shit, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? You got to go find buyers. Where do you find buyers?
Well, there's a lot of places you can find buyers, right? And I'll give you some very easy way to find buyers. One is, you can go to Zillow. You can look at different realtors that's up on Zillow, kind of in the area. You can call them up, see if they actually have buyers. Facebook groups is a huge one. If you're not in Facebook groups, like,
Absolutely.
Where are you?
Yeah.
Be in Facebook groups in your area, right? For us, it's Indianapolis, off market or wholesale deals or something like that. Just play with it, pause, and you should be able to find something where you can, be able to get that information and find different buyers who are interested in properties. You also can find buyers on Craigslist, right? You can find buyers if you just type in like wholesale, buy wholesale properties in Indianapolis. You might be able to find some other wholesaling companies who may buy it from you.
Exactly.
Right. So those are just a few ways that you can, find buyers quickly to be able to, buy that deal from you, especially if you get it at a good price.
Absolutely. And you can also reach out to, like he said, realtors. This is another back end side, is just reach out to realtors, ask them to pull comparables in the area. And after they pull those comparables, you can then go in and search who's the owners of these properties that sold.
That's fire right there.
And those will be buyers that are buying flips in that market, in that area. But always ask that they pull it at least within, I would say, a quarter mile or a half a mile of your property that you're looking at. And that's how you find buyers. Once you get those buyers, all of a sudden, guess what you got to do? You got to lock them up. Hey, they come in. Hey, I want to pay 55. Hey, I got 60. Boom, you got a buyer at 65,000 now. What do?
Right.
You got to get them under contract. You got to assign the contract to them. Now that you did that, what's next?
Yeah, so you assign.
Last but not least.
Oh, yep. So you assign the contract to them, and now you got 2 contracts. You got the purchase contract for $50,000. You got the assignment contract that says $65,000. You send them both over to the title company, and then you let the title company know, hey, we want to close this. You guys schedule a closing day with the seller and with the buyer. You communicate back and forth with both of them until closing day, and then really you just choose if you want to come in and get a check or if you want to get a wire.
Yeah, but I will say this, just to wrap this up. Look, guys, when you're getting the first contract, make sure you send the first contract immediately to the title company, okay? Find a title company in your area that's normally investor friendly, okay? Send that contract over to the title company. They'll get title started. That way, if your buyer is ready to close as soon as title is clean, you already know that you're already ready to close once they're ready, right? So then once you get the contract from the buyers, you'll have that sent back into the title company. Hey, I now have a buyer. Put their information in the email so they can reach directly out to them. And then once you get to closing, once you get that, their title will give you a closing date. And at that closing date, like Omari said, I know it's redundant, but like he said, go in, pick up your check, and walk off like this. Into the sunset. It's just like that, man.
Just like that. That's how you wholesale without no money.
Step by step. Let's
Straight
get it.
like that, man. We out.